The distress beacon pulsed weakly through the void, its crystalline harmonics barely registering. On the sensors of the Galactic Trade Consortium vessel, Serenity's Edge, Captain Veltar's four eyes widened as the translation matrix decoded the desperate plea. All vessels. This is Research Station Harmony 7, under attack by Kresh raiders. Minimal defenses. Requesting immediate assistance. Coordinates attached. Veltar's webbed fingers trembled as she activated the emergency broadcast protocol. The Kresh were notorious across 17 sectors. Vicious pirates who left no survivors and harvested entire populations for their slave markets. Harmony 7 housed over 3,000 researchers from a dozen peaceful species. Send the call to all nearby vessels, she commanded her communications officer. Maximum priority. Within hours, the responses came flooding in. The Altarian Medical Corps pledged 2 hospital ships, arriving in 6 standard days. The Centauri Defense Force offered a single patrol cruiser, 4 days minimum. The Rigelian peacekeepers promised a diplomatic envoy to negotiate with the raiders. Veltar's species, the gentle Kalari, had evolved on water worlds where cooperation meant survival. Violence was so foreign to their nature that they required sedatives just to watch historical war documentaries. Like most civilized species, they had long since abandoned the brutal practices of their primitive ancestors. Then came a transmission that made everyone's blood run cold, or in the Kalari's case, their internal temperature regulators malfunction. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Expeditionary Fleet. We've intercepted your distress call. ETA to your position, 18 hours. 18 hours. Veltar checked the calculations 3 times. The humans would have to traverse nearly half the sector at speeds that should have torn their ships apart. Their vessels would need to withstand gravitational forces that would liquefy most known species. But the humans were from Earth, the infamous Deathworld that had spawned the galaxy's most terrifying species. A planet where every life form competed in an endless arms race of evolution, where creatures hunted each other through environments that ranged from frozen wastelands to boiling deserts, where even the plants were weaponized. Captain, her science officer whispered, the humans, they're actually coming, but they're traveling at military emergency speeds through the Kepler Nebula. That's suicide. The radiation alone will. They're humans, Zixtal, Veltar replied grimly. They evolved swimming in radiation that would cook our ancestors in seconds. They breathe poison gas and drink liquid that dissolves metals. 16 hours later, the Serenity's Edge detected massive energy signatures approaching Harmony 7. Long-range sensors revealed a sight that would haunt every crew member for the rest of their extended lifespans. 12 human dreadnoughts emerged from faster-than-light travel in perfect formation, their hulls scarred and blackened from passage through the nebula. Each ship bristled with weapons that violated several interstellar treaties. The flagship, Indomitable, dwarfed even the largest consortium vessels. Admiral Chen's voice crackled across all frequencies, and her words were colder than the vacuum of space. Kresh vessels, this is Admiral Chen of the Terran Fleet. You have 30 seconds to power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. This is your only warning. The Kresh response came as a barrage of plasma fire, a concentrated assault that should have crippled any civilized vessel. The human shields didn't even flicker. What followed could only be described as orchestrated devastation. The human weapons didn't just destroy the Kresh ships. They systematically dismantled them with surgical precision. Engines were severed, weapons arrays were vaporized, and life support systems were selectively disabled. Within minutes, the notorious Kresh raiding fleet was reduced to floating debris and disabled hulks. But the humans weren't finished. Marine assault pods launched from the dreadnoughts, cutting through space like bullets. Each pod contained a squad of humans in powered armor, bipedal predators who had evolved to hunt in packs across their hellish homeworld. They boarded the disabled Kresh vessels with the efficiency that spoke of countless battles. The screams of the Kresh pirates echoed across communication channels as the humans extracted justice with methodical brutality. These weren't the gentle negotiators that civilized species employed. These were apex predators who had crawled their way up from the bottom of a food chain that had tried to kill them for millions of years. Within 3 hours, every pirate was captured. The hostages were freed, and medical teams were already treating the wounded. The human medics worked alongside consortium doctors, their steady hands performing miracles of battlefield surgery that left the alien physicians in awe. Admiral Chen's image appeared on Veltar's main screen. A scarred human female with eyes like tempered steel, and a smile that somehow managed to be both reassuring and terrifying. Captain Veltar, Harmony 7 is secure. The crash survivors are in custody and will be transferred to consortium authorities. Our medical teams are providing assistance to the wounded. Is there anything else you require? Veltar struggled to find words. Admiral, how did you arrive so quickly? And your casualties from the Nebula passage? Chen's smile widened. We lost some hull plating and a few sensor arrays. Nothing a maintenance crew can't fix. As for speed, when someone sends a distress call, you don't ask whether it's convenient. You ask how fast you can get there. As the human fleet prepared to depart, Veltar realized something that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of the species from the third planet of Sol. Humans weren't just apex predators, they were apex protectors. Their violence wasn't random or cruel. It was purposeful, directed, and infinitely more terrifying for its restraint. They had evolved in a universe that tried to kill them every single day, and instead of becoming monsters, they had become guardians. The next morning, every major news network carried the same headline. Human fleet ends Crash Terror campaign in single day? But the subtext whispered. Through every civilized world spoke a deeper truth. The humans hadn't just saved Harmony 7. They had announced their presence as the galaxy's new protectors, and the universe would never be the same.